Getting ready here.
Yeah.
Yep, and now we're live, just in the breeze here. Oh.
F, we're going live. We're going live.
All right. And again, this is off camera, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really, yeah, really include that too. So
Yeah.
just gonna do a few more things.
I just heard the thing go off.
What thing?
Like the podcast. Yeah, on the live stream.
Oh, okay, for sure, for sure.
And it's pure black. It's black on the screen.
Yeah, no, it's off camera. So there's, like I said,
Yeah.
there's no point for us being on camera. That's a different can of worms I'll be opening up later in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll give some time in case there's people that go and jump in. Just want to leave some notifications.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so just want to tweet a little bit, blah blah. Got a podcast going on. Join us in our friend podcast as we have our good buddy Hockeysong, and I will capitalize CH on your name. Song.
CH.
Yeah. Talking about fun stuff in media. So
Yeah.
come take a listen. So think we're good. Paste. Yep. And there we are. So I'm gonna keep it on the chat. So if you see me like, or if I'm not responding as quick, obviously I'm just I'm trying to do two things at once: talk and watch the thing.
Yep.
All right, man. So for those of you watching this, right now live, or you guys watching this at a different time, this is our little new segment we're doing called the Ohio Guys with Friends podcast, and this will be the first one for 2020, hopefully for the rest of the decade, as we have our good friend Hockeysong, who happens to be a YouTuber right now, playing some funny games, funny moments, all that good jazz. So, Hockey, why don't you tell us about yourself?
You're cutting out for me.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
sorry, but you're cutting out for me. Hold on. Maybe that worked.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I do. And I am a gaming YouTuber that does not upload frequently. How do you? What is that? Frequently?
Yes,
Bleh.
correct.
Yeah,
That's the right word.
I cannot. I suck at that.
That's okay, man.
Anyways, uh, what are we talking about?
So, just want just have a quick rundown. As we've really hit 2020. A lot of great media stuff has come out. Whether it be video games, movies, TV shows, etc.
Oh, we really hit 2020, all right.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah, like 2020 was just like, welcome to 2020, bam, and we just got we just there's the message. Here's our welcome.
Yeah.
This is going to be different, very different.
It's an interesting one. That's why we're doing it on February 1st, as a way to move away from, January, hopefully getting a better start, or a better flow into the new year, if that's the right direction.
Oh my god, you're still cutting out for me. I don't know what's coming. Maybe it's
that's weird.
That's weird.
Oh, okay. Let me see.
It's probably coming from your end, but
yeah, it's from my end. I was just saying how we're trying to move away from January into February.
Well, and February is going to be a long February because it's the 29th. Because we're having a 29th this year.
For sure. So yeah, man. Why don't you kick us off? Talk about like stuff that's kind of piqued your interest. Rather than the last year or
Um,
so, 5 years?
the last 5 years, they basically like I. Well, here's the thing. Let's say this: 2010 to 2015 the was like a pretty good start to like the 2010s, and then we reached the next 5 years, 15 to 20, and it it gave us something that just this that just that just like we were not expecting. Okay, like for when I'm gonna like for video games, it actually like gave us like good video games. Like in 2015, 2016, we were getting like pretty good video games, and then when we hit like 2017 and mid 2018, that's when we were getting like controversy after controversy after controversy after like controversy. Like actually no, like I would pretty say like half like 2015 to 2020 was pretty much controversy and good video games and controversy. I say that so much. Like the best example is Red Dead Redemption 2. We got a pretty good game from that. I loved it. I love that game. I like it was where I live. It cost $80, but I waited. I waited, but I it would still said 80. But I was like, whatever. So I paid the game. I played it, and I was in love with it. Did Interesting enough, I did not even play the first one.
Wow.
And then the best example of everyone just not happy with this product is EA Battlefront 2.
Oh boy.
It, yeah, like
I
when
heard.
it came, yeah, sorry,
No, I was just saying. Like I heard many
yeah,
stories.
when it came
Like
out,
yeah, I didn't play it
yeah,
though. I heard stories.
oh yeah, like the the story I heard was decent. The microtransaction was not good. Like it was just micro. They promoted microtransaction, which in turn led to very lawmakers, and everyone was not happy with that. Everyone, including governments.
Yeah.
But but for what I've been hearing now is that EA actually EA Battlefront 2 is actually doing better than when it first came out.
I can imagine they got that heat for that.
Oh yeah,
And now that Jedi Fallen Order came out,
yeah. It's
they've
a
they've cleaned their image
yeah. They mm,
in a way.
they're stepping in the right direction.
Hmm.
You can't. There are companies that can make good video games, and there are game companies that think this is good and think this will help people, but actually it just doesn't.
Yeah,
You'll never know.
yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this YouTuber named Jim Sterling. He's covered EA, since the get-go. With all their business plans, with all their games that they developed, just everything you think of. He's done a great job when it comes to blowing the whistle on
Oh yeah,
microtransactions. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah. There are YouTubers that like bash EA, bash Bethesda, bash Activision for making for basically as they describe it as robbing the fans of their soul.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, but like when yeah, but when it comes to like when it comes to like video games, there also comes movies as well, like the like damn it, I had it in my head. No, here no, the Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could. Here's the thing: we in 2015, December 2015, Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens comes out, and the reaction was highly critically acclaimed at the time
Hmm.
because it because they were because what uh how I say it is that Disney, J.J. Abrams, they wanted to make something for the fans, and they made something for the fans in the short run, but then in the long run, people realized that it was just a carbon copy of A New Hope,
Right. No, I agree
and
with you on
that
that.
yeah, that it that this is this not made fans happy. And then Ryan Johnson came in for episode 8. And oh boy, it went in a different direction, all right. A very, very different direction. Oh, that pe- people say that it divided the fans further, but I feel like it actually united the fans into agreeing that whatever comes out next, it's not going to be good. Then
Right.
J.J. Abrams come back and says and tries to say like this was planned from the beginning, even though it clearly doesn't show. Then Rise of Skywalker comes out, and just it it really didn't feel connected at all. Like like I was not happy. Like here like the first Star Wars film I saw in theaters was Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
I was like 8 at the time when I saw Anakin Skywalker getting burned alive.
Wow.
Yeah,
8.
at 8. Yeah, and then when during that time of 2015 to 2019 of the trilogy being released, many mm, there were very popular people on YouTube, not as popular as like PewDiePie or other people, but like they had a good sub count to consider themselves to be like famous YouTubers. Not in the millions, but like in the hundreds of thousands, I think. They and try to claim that Star Wars is a children's franchise.
Mm.
It's only for kids, even though clearly with Revenge of the Sith, more specifically, that's not the case.
Yeah, definitely. It's more of an adult story, and you really
It
pointed out about towards the end.
like as much even George Lucas has stated that it's he made it for the kids at the time.
Hmm.
But here's the thing: in the '70s, children were more open to stuff, and then when the years progressed over the decades, it went back to like went more to like yeah, like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And especially if you had like a good teacher in high school or middle school, they would tell you about the story of Star Wars. Like George Lucas,
I
your
mean,
favorite, like he took stories from other parts of history, like Roman,
yeah,
Greek,
yeah.
Japanese. Heck, it's right
Oh,
there.
like he even he made he made homage like when he was making the original trilogy, he made homages to like the movies he made at the time. The movies were made back then, like in the 50s and the 40s, because movies back then inspired directors that made movies in the 70s to 90s, which inspired those kids to become directors that make like some movies in the 2000s and up. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And just going back to with the whole story structure, and I think that's something that's missing in today's like directors or like or just people that make movies in Hollywood or anywhere in the world.
People,
It's the missing story structure. Like you need a beginning, middle, and end. Everything needs to make sense. Anything that new happens, it has to be connected somehow. You can't just put things in just for the sake of it. And that's like in art.
I
That's
mean,
kind of like
The Fast and the Furious franchise did that every movie they make, and that's still making money.
and again, difference between money and story. Like, yeah, they can get away with that because people will watch it regardless if the story is good or if anything makes sense because it's its own niche of entertainment and
Yeah,
people will go for that. And yeah, like they can do what they want with with the series.
There's a there is a film that I like, not the film, but like there's a difference between like films like The Fast and the Furious and films like um let's just say the Star Wars original trilogy and prequel trilogy.
Hmm.
The difference between like those two is that Star Wars, those two trilogies were telling a story. The Fast and Furious franchise was had a weak story, but you're here for the action. You're here to shut off your brain and just see the act. And like the movie says, like you're here for story. You're funny. You're only here to see cars and tits and action. Sorry.
That's fine. You're fine. Go on.
Yeah. But but like there are directors that have stated like, I just want to make an action film. I don't want to care about the story. Then there'll be people that want to tell a good story and want to tell a narrative. They want to tell like a trilogy, a saga, a story. And now like when you're coming into like from and then when and it comes back to like 2015 to 2020, now and more executives are getting in the way of that and just saying no, you need more action, you need more of this, you need more of that, and then they do these test screenings which really shouldn't have existed anymore, really shouldn't exist anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And by the way, before we lose track, I just want to say thank you to Sabs and Bio Gundam for joining this live stream slash podcast. I see you guys. I'm the one responding. So uh yeah, keep the chat going. I'll say hi to anyone that jumps in because we got 9 viewers so far, or 10. I don't know. The count is not accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah. So go on, Hockey. Go on with what you were saying.
As I was like, and when it comes to story and narrative, it also goes to video games as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the best case I say is that Rockstar, they take their time when it comes to making a video game because they tell a story and it's open world.
Yes.
And the best example is that I would people would say like I would probably say GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, like GTA 5 and up, are the reasons like are basically how Rockstar hit his peak in video games.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling that people are going to say GTA 4 started that peak.
I would go more with the Batman games. Like, you really have Batman, you really have an established story, but like the way they told from the four games.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was more like talking about Rockstar
Oh yeah.
itself,
Well,
but
did they make the game? Didn't they make the Batman games? I thought they did.
no, that was Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Like Warner Brothers had like another studio that made the Batman Arkham games, and they
Ah, okay.
and like the studio made the first two Batman Arkham games, and so when they were making the fourth game, I would say Arkham Knight, they told Warner Brothers that it's going to take a while for them to make the game, so they told them to get another studio to make an Arkham game to pass for fans to pass the time until Arkham Knight comes out.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, like and Warner Brothers agreed, and and this is coming from my end, but they probably told the studio to make an make a Batman Arkham game, but please tell a story.
They-
Like what the other studio is doing. They're making another Arkham game, but it's going to take a while. I need you to make this for the fans, but
mhm.
tell a story.
Yeah, you're talking about Arkham Origins, right?
Arkham Origins, exactly.
That's a good game, like especially with how they introduced the Joker. Like, not as origin or way kick off the whole Joker and Batman rivalry,
Yeah.
but I'll take it like just that whole what what you call it, just like the way they told story, through body
Mm.
language, through facial expressions, like
The voice
again,
act,
yes,
even the voice actors were changed in Arkham Origins, but they hit the mark for the Arkham character, so you wouldn't even recognize the change.
keep buying, getting more games, says Bio Gundam. But yeah, like again with the Arkham Origins, like there was just so much you got to learn about, like the not so what's the word? I won't say like well known, but like the ones that don't get enough spotlight. Like you got to know about Electrocutioner. You got to know about what's the name? You got to learn about Firefly, like other villains, Batman villains that
Mm-hmm.
got to that got to play a part in both the story, the main story, and just the action with Origins. And they could
Oh
just
yeah.
they could just done the whole bring Penguin, bring Two Face, bring Riddler and Joker. Because that's the go-to villains, like the top four. But they decided to have Joker be the ringleader this time around, and be the ones to tell the lesser known villains, hey, we're gonna kill Batman, but here's how we're gonna do it. And again, it's still correlated with the story itself. Sorry, man, did you get that or did I cut out? Nope. I hope I didn't lose hockey here, guys. Uh, you still there, hockey? Oh, okay. He said be right back. All right, so I guess I'll catch up with the chat. So we live in a society. We sure do, Bio. Depending on which society, because you're from the other side of the world, if I remember correctly, and we live right here, in the states. So yeah, guys. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this
Oh, sorry.
podcast. Uh, and there was something new to shake things up in terms of content. In terms of, just going through the changes in YouTube. So again, out of Ohio guys and friends. So any friends that we have, from our Discord or we know from Bill Games, PC, PS4, this is a kind of way to, kind of like expand in our content that we have. So yeah, glad you're back, Hockey. So
Yeah.
hopefully you caught what I was saying about
Uh,
the story.
you, I,
Yeah, I saw your
you,
message.
yeah, yeah. I half your, yeah. I heard half of it, and then I had to leave for a sec, and then
No,
I came back to hear you finish it.
that's fine. I just wrapped up with my thoughts on the
Oh
Batman
yeah.
Arkham Origins. So, yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to take it from there or take us to a
Oh
new
yeah.
site
Like
out.
I was. Oh yeah. And like when I was as for when you tell a story in a game like the Arkham series, you will always get those. Then you'll get those games that disappoint fans. Like there'll be the Alien games. Like there'll be a mix of hit and misses, and then there's definite misses.
Yeah,
Like yeah, because like you're trying to make a horror game, and apparently there are bugs going around, but then you make another Alien game and it works. And like hell, like then when you're if you just don't want to do storytelling games, you just want to go into multiplayer and just play. Best example would be Call of Duty, because like when there was no when multiplayer wasn't a thing back in the early 2000s, they they only made stories from Call of Duty, and then when multiplayer became a bigger thing, they promote multiplayer more and more and more often, and made the story mode less and less important, which is kind of disappointing because there are people who buy Call of Duty just for the story.
huh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like yeah,
I thought it was just for the shooting. That's what I hear.
yeah. Of course that as well. But then there's Grand Theft Auto, so meh. And then there's Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then When I would I'd say like actually like another good example of like good multiplayer and good story at the same time would be the Halo series,
Hmm.
like Halo 1 to 3.
I heard those were the best ones. I heard people say one and two were the best of the best. Three, like it depends who you ask.
From what I heard is that 3 was the best game in the trilogy, and I played all the games, and like to me my I would say my favorite would be Halo 4. Surprisingly,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
reason why I, the reason why I say that is because it was technically the first Halo game I played. I
oh,
played
okay.
Halo like the way like okay, people are just gonna be like, "Why did you play Halo 4 before you played 1 and 2 and 3? What's wrong with you?" But it's like I the thing is that I played Halo Reach at my cousin's place sometimes when I was little, when I was like 10.
Hmm.
But then and then I and then I got my own 360 and I got Halo 4 and I played that first. And of course, they didn't even reference the main villain of the original trilogy. So I did not know about the main. Like you played the games, right? Everyone's played the Halo games, right?
I haven't, because I was the one without with like around that time. I
Okay, I'm
knew
not
I
gonna.
knew about it. No, no, that's fine. I'm okay with
You knew
spoilers. I'm
about.
okay. But no, go ahead. Like I'll let you spoil this for me.
No. I'm not
Okay,
gonna
you're
do
gonna
it.
do that to me. You're
Like
going to.
all I can say is that the main villain. Uh, you're not expecting what you're expecting.
Okay.
You think it's one thing, but it's really another thing.
Is that
That's
so?
how. Yeah, but the reason why, and but either way, anyways, back to Halo 4. Um, Halo 4 basically was setting up for like this new villain, or they were going for like a one story type kind of like game, like where it's like you play the game for 4 and then you deal with something else in Halo 5 and then you deal with something else in Halo 6. But no, apparently there was backlash to Halo 4 and how they did it, of how they treated Master Chief, that they when they made Halo 5, they, let's just say, it just was like not hitting the mark. They said they were the Halo team that made Halo 5 just like, okay, let's settle down the backlash, and then they just made it worse.
How? How can you make anything worse?
Oh, there are ways. There oh, let's just here's the thing. When you play the Halo games, just start from 1, then 2, then 3, then Reach, then 4, and then you play 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and then but you can get the Halo games now on PC
Yeah,
on Steam.
Bao just said it. You can get Halo Master Chief Collection on PC. It has 6 games on it. So yeah, I'm not sure if you can see Bio's
Yeah,
comments, but yeah, but I'll just read them out.
yeah.
Halo Reach is great as well. Halo 1 is second place. Halo 3 is okay, but Halo 2 is best. I've heard that before. Halo, oh, I think Halo is the shit. He means in a good way, I assume.
Yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, man.
I just see then I just see it. Bio says Halo 5 is about Yon Yandere.
Yeah. No jokes. I mean, no jokes, Bio. We joke here, or no?
Either no, he's not even joking. He's basically saying that Halo 5 was that bad.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean. Because yeah,
Yeah.
he's his spacing is just yeah, it's throws me off.
Yeah. But
But man, no,
but
it's
Halo
a
either
popular
way,
franchise.
yeah. Halo 6 is coming out later. this year,
Huh.
and yeah,
Are
and it's
you
weird that
excited for it, or you're still worried how they're gonna?
I am. Here's the thing: I am happy that this game is coming out. Like it took forever, to be honest, because Halo 5 came out what 2015, 2017, or something like that. I don't remember. Like, let me just look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know from the top of my head because everything's
It came out. No, yeah, it came out in 2015. It
okay.
took 5 years
Is the
for them to make another Halo game because Halo 4 came out in 2012, which was 3 years.
oh, okay? Maybe they learned their lessons. Maybe.
For um, I don't know. Maybe they're just making their like the 5 year process was for them to like they don't like Halo 5. We need to make a very long story to explain everything and to fix everything. Like just like Halo 5 Guardians. People did not like it. All right, time to make a long story game, which will take 5 years to make.
Bio says he's looking forward to it.
Hmm.
We'll see, Bio. Like, I just can't say like I will participate in it. Depending what I'm doing by that point. But yeah, we'll see how the series redeems itself. Again, I hear things, from wherever I can, whether it be Jim Sterling, whether it be like reviews online or memes on Facebook, Twitter. That's
Yep.
that's best I'll get, my information on the Halo series.
Like, yeah, but like, and either also like sometimes like real life stuff can reflect on a video game or movie. Like there are times where they say it's based on a true story and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And then in the end, it like you find out that it's not really a true like the story they made is not really what happened in real life, or they just made it up just to make money. Horror movies. Yeah, and then there are movies that do child messaging in a bad way. Like how I say it is that hmm, they want to they want kids to like they want to send a message to kids saying you got to be good, you have to be a good person, and all that stuff. Which, yeah, of course, you have to tell your kids to be good and all that. But like, there are movies that should be taken more seriously, and then they put these messagings like, "Come on, we need you," and the guy's just like, huh, just like moves his head up, like, "Yeah, I gotta do it," and like, and it's like, or like, "What's all this? It's everybody. They're joining together." Whoa. Like the villain is just like, what? Everybody joining forces? They're all friends? What? Like, that just it just I get so frustrated when I see that in movies and TV shows.
It's too cliche at this point.
What?
Too cliche for you at this point.
It's so freaking cliche that it just isn't even a cliche. It just feels like that's an actual messaging. Like it's just like every time I see a movie or TV show that does that kind of thing, it just like no. You want to send a message to kids, do it a better way. Like like please. I don't care how you do it. Just don't do it like
Wow.
oh.
No, man. I can feel your anger on this one. I can only imagine
Like
what else makes you mad.
and and this is where I go back to it. It wasn't this is where I go back to Star Wars on this.
Hmm.
The Rise of Skywalker had that kind of messaging,
Yeah, I
which
figured it.
which did not have that kind of messaging in any of the other movies, including 8 and 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's. I've only seen seven. I'll be honest with you, man. I've only seen seven. I didn't bother doing 8 or 9. Maybe I'll do it later, but I know seven. I didn't see any of that.
Like, oh, like, it just, and also like, you haven't seen the movie, have you?
No, like I said, I might. I've been spoiled enough, so I'm like whatever. I've been spoiled. I chose to be spoiled, you know.
Okay, so you chose. So you okay? So I'm just gonna. So you're okay if I spoil this? Anyone
Yeah,
else in the?
I mean you
eh,
can't. Everyone's really spoiled it for me.
like anyone else in the chat okay with this?
Bio, I don't think you care too much. You're in your own little happy zone, so I don't think you mind if you
Okay,
spoil Star Wars. Yeah, I'm gonna take that as a do whatever you do your
this.
thing.
Okay, they bring like the title of the movie is Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Rey's not a Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Palpatine.
Yes.
And then at the end of the movie, she calls herself Rey Skywalker.
Yeah.
No, just no. Like, like the actress Rey, like the actress who plays Rey,
Mm-hmm.
she was given what she was given. I'm not gonna judge her on that. It's just there are no good, like there are no good characters in that trilogy. There was no good story in that trilogy. Actors are given what they're given. Directors and writers have their vision in mind and they need to see it through. But there has to be cooperation with that as well, or else you make a mess.
Mm-hmm.
When George Lucas directed the first Star Wars movie, he took a and it he was given a terrible budget with terrible filming time, and it was really and the release date was in May. May May was considered a not good month to release movies in
Mm-hmm.
because it's like January. Like you put horror movies in January because they're not good. Just throw it in there. May was considered like a blockbuster, soulless thing, you know.
Yeah.
Then Star Wars came out in May. Everybody watched it, made over $700 million, and it just became like the blockbuster thing of putting movies in May because it's close to summer. You get what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's what got his name Blockbuster because people were waiting in lines, blocks after blocks, just to just to get inside
Yeah,
the
like
theater.
Star Wars, Star Wars created blockbusters,
Mm-hmm. I agree with that statement.
and like Star Wars actually was the one that perfected whatever they like technology that was made at the time. Like the original trilogy perfected practical effects and special effects at the time. Like you may not see it with the special editions, but back then it was praised for the action
Mm-hmm.
and for how these special effects were good at the time. Then you look, and then the prequels came out, very CGI and very practical effect, in my opinion. From what I've been reading, they used a lot of practical effects, and that the screen was only used during background effects. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, and there were puppets back then, like, even,
Puppets.
yeah, puppets,
Mm,
models, stuff like that, like stuff that you do by hand. Now it's all CGI.
yeah, but here's the thing: is that I I grew up on the prequels, and I actually enjoyed the movies. And then years later, I am surprised that people like back in like 2000. 13, 14, I was surprised to find out that the prequels were hated.
Hmm.
Like, I was just like, what? You do not like Phantom Menace? No. You don't like Attack of the Clones? No. You don't even like Revenge of the Sith? The best Star Wars movie?
Hmm.
No. Ugh. Like, I was completely surprised when people said they didn't like the prequels. And then I realized something.
Hmm.
And then those same types of people like the sequels, and I'm just like, are you okay? Do you need help? I get it. You don't like the prequels, but liking the sequels? You want me to call a doctor?
Oh boy. Well, again, this goes back to my original point about story structure. People these days, they're not being educated by people that are either in theater or like movie history,
Oh yeah, like
English literature. Like they will explain to you, step by step, how do you tell a proper story that's going to both make sense and have a climax, a conclusion. And I do again. I've come across the same people you've told me about, and when you
mm,
try to explain them, in an orderly fashion, they still have a hard time getting it, understanding it, or they just still choose like, well, I still liked the sequels, for blah blah blah,
mm,
any reason.
but
So it's I get you, man. I get your frustration.
yeah, and but also this is that like back to like the technology thing.
Hmm.
Uh, the prequels perfected CGI and and perfecting using both practical and CGI. Terminator did that in the real in what I say realistic way.
Hmm.
You get what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Luke made the Star Wars prequels all around CGI and practical effects, and it looks very like Star Wars. You know, like back when you're watching the prequels, it looks like Star Wars. You can see like yeah, you can if you actually go into the Star Wars universe, you can well see like Coruscant like that, or you can see like Tatooine like that, or
Yes, he gave it both the
but then
identity and the DNA, that can to be
it,
used.
exactly, and then like the sequels, they all they had to do was basically just combine the original and prequel kind of worldly phenomenons to make it like Star Wars, you know?
Hmm.
But they didn't. They went more like original trilogy because they thought that prequels are hated. Let's just do the original like look, which really doesn't work.
Hmm.
Like you like the prequels set up to make like gigantic cities or mountains and cities or like cities and mountains or something like that. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Or even giant battlefields. Like you don't even need spaceship battles. Uh, You can do like what the Clone Wars did. An aerial assault, just like the ships show up, they fight in space, and then you send troops to the ground.
Yeah.
You could make Star Wars movies like that now,
Hmm.
but they chose a different path,
Right.
which to me did not feel right.
My complaint that I noticed from when I saw the seventh movie, and this sounds just like what you explained, even like some of the monsters or new aliens that they bring in when they went to go get Han Solo, Millennium Falcon back from that place. There was like these tentacle monsters with teeth. They didn't feel like Star Wars aliens. They felt like something you would see in the video game Dead Space, or somewhere else, like a different universe. And that's what threw me off. I'm like, wait a minute, like
Like,
there's still like an identity. You still gotta like still be underneath like the Star Wars before
yeah,
you step away from that identity. And then visually it seems awkward and out of place when you see those things that pop out, whether it's a sequel, prequel, whatever. Like it's missing that George Lucas esque feel or that
Yeah,
look.
like that. Yeah, like with to some Star Wars fans think that it's just that like what actually bothers me is that people attack George Lucas when the prequels came out. Like I found videos of like including like the two people just singing George Lucas are my childhood. Like it's just like like seriously? The boy made your childhood. The man made your childhood. What do you mean he ruined it? Like
Wow.
that's where it frustrates me. It's like you can criticize a director for the way they make a movie or criticize them for making a movie, but sending him death threats saying he ruined your childhood, whining, crying, attacking verbally, like putting a mental strain on someone, that's just a low point. That's just low.
I think again, this goes like with just people or fans, whatever. I think they still kind of like gotta be careful they don't have their expectations too high, because if you do, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's the lesson I learned for myself. I told myself anytime I watch any movie, any sequel, what have you, I tell myself, okay, take it as it is. If something's not go right, okay, at least have it in your mind. At least have a discussion like we are. That way,
yeah,
it doesn't feel you know too much of a hate bashing. You know.
yeah, but like yeah, exactly, and it actually just kind of infuriates me with this though
Hmm.
is that um is that there are franchises that are going in a direction that shouldn't be going in that direction,
Hmm.
which one of them being Star Wars.
Right.
Like they're going in like I don't want to say like you know what I'm thinking, right? I don't
Yeah.
really want to say it because but you know what I mean. They're going in that kind of direction, and and they're just like trying to please whatever crowd over there. But in the end, it actually just ruins them in the long run.
Right. And again, I haven't seen the movies. I've been spoiled about it. What was also confused about me is, again, if you try to make a hero movie or have like a villain versus a good guy,
Yeah,
you still gotta like have a way to preserve your villain. Otherwise, if you lose your villain, who is the good guy going to fight? And with Star Wars, as we keep mentioning over and over again, you either have the lack of government or a tyrannic government, whether it be the Empire or the Order, what have you. That's that's the thing where it's been, again, directions are being pulled, by different directors that they see it going this way or they want to go that way. I thought, this should have been like a restructure of the government. And I tell everyone, when the seventh movie came out, I thought the Republic would be like the new big government, like it's got an established army, it's got an established system. The Empire, the ones that survived, are now the
yeah,
rebels. They're the ones that will not go down, no matter how many generals,
yeah,
lieutenants, officers are either put down for war crimes in trials, executed for what they did.
yeah,
They would still go down, fighting. That they
yeah,
hope, hopefully that they, by pure chance, by a hail mary that gets
yeah,
pulled, they will get back into that hegemon
yeah.
hierarchy seat. But again, like it kind of threw me off. We got the new order, the one that's three times, five
What
times bigger than the empire.
what
That's
actually
yeah, that's where I'm like, that does not
what
happen in real life ever.
what actually baffles me at that point is that what baffles me is that when they Lucas set the tone of how Star Wars should be, like in the prequels, and yet they go back to like this kind of like original trilogy. Actually, not even original trilogy kind of like uh theme and darkness. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, like he trying to balance like the good and
They,
evil.
they, they're like it's because George Lucas kind of made a good versus evil with
Yes.
gray in the middle
Hmm.
for the and then but in the sequels it's just good and evil.
Yeah.
Like
And
very
and
and and the gray in the middle that I've seen, like the Last Jedi's gray in the middle, was just that's not even gray in the middle. That's just another message to the people. Like, ugh, you get what I mean?
yeah, no, I get you. And again, like the tone, like again, if we're going by like the borrowed history, like the borrowed mythologies that George has implemented, again, whether it be like a King Arthur, story, a story of, about the Romans, like Julius Caesar, and all those historical
It's a
figures.
space fantasy.
Yeah,
That's what he basically said it as a space fantasy, and the new Star Wars films felt more sci-fi
yeah,
than space fantasy, space opera.
yeah. Or
Because
or if you go hardcore, like more, nitty gritty, dirty space, more like cowboys, more of like outlaw western in
oh yeah,
space.
like when you watch like the quality from like the prequels and originals, and then you watch the quality from the sequels, the sequels felt more like a sci-fi quality, while Star Wars had its space opera, space fantasy quality
Yeah.
that you can definitely watch and you can definitely see.
Hmm.
And like what I'm down for is that they like what I'm down for is that they should like there are rumors right now that George Lucas is coming back. And
Interesting. Oh
and the
yeah, yeah.
story like the story there's rumors that George Lucas is coming back, and some are suggesting that George Lucas is offered to come back, but he said he will come back under the condition that he actually takes full control of Lucasfilm again.
Huh.
But yeah, and when I heard the news, I'm just like, if that means redoing the sequel trilogy, I am down. I don't care. I'll pay the extra $100 just to see the real trilogy, the real like because because the trilogy that I watch, I do not consider showing that to my kids.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for any hardcore listener. I don't blame you because, like I said, it's a tale of two stories, that are conflicting with each other rather than complementing each other for their saga or their trilogy that it's told, to different generations.
Exactly. Like kids were happy with the originals, and then their kids were happy with the prequels, but now their kids and those kids now their grandchildren I say are watching the sequels now.
Hmm.
And at first they will love it, but I have this feeling that once they grow up, they realize that they won't remember like anything good about these movies. There probably are good moments, but they won't be as memorable as like, "No, I am your father," or like, "You're the chosen one." There was nothing like remember like you're my brother, Anakin.
the
I
cl-
loved you.
the climax, like and that's what I felt like the sequels were missing. The climax, the big blow off, the build up to this huge moment, and that's why, like you've mentioned, really, like those two from like each of the respected trilogies,
Yeah.
we still remember that because it solidify the point that they're trying to get us to.
The point of the goal of making a good movie is to tell a story. The goal of making a trilogy is to tell a good story. Authors like Tolkien knew about how to write a story. and so he wanted to write one book. But at the time, his either agency or the or whatever were saying no, it's too long or too big, or it's more profitable to split it into three.
Hmm.
And so they split it into three books, but the either way, the three books were still made a lot of money,
Yeah.
and it it was telling one story, but it felt too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it? I really got to stop saying you know what I mean, but
It's fine.
but even George R. R. Martin, when he wrote his Song of Ice and Fire books, they're 1,000 pages long per book. They're
I
big.
I
they're massive.
I
Like
finished him.
so massive that that you can't even make you have to make a trilogy per book. You
you
get what I mean? Yeah.
you have to make more seasons just to tell a George R. R. Martin story.
Yeah, like you probably have to make 2 seasons for the first book,
Yeah.
which that's what I've been hearing. Like
I've heard tons of things
Mark,
like
yeah,
no, the
I,
like the whole 8 seasons people said like it should be like double the seasons.
like Martin said that there was enough material in there to last up to 10 seasons, 10 episodes each.
I will push further just to be on the safe side, in
He
story.
said he said 10 to 12 or something like that.
I will go for 12. I go for 12.
Oh yeah, like you could easily tell season one, and you can easily tell make you can tell the story of book one and two.
Yeah.
Not book one and two. Seasons one and two about book one, and then three and four be book two, five and six book three, and then etc.
Yeah.
Like because like that's what they should have done was they should have done 2 seasons per book, so that way they would give Martin more time to finish off his sixth book, and then they have to rely on his manuscripts for the seventh book
Hmm.
for 11 and 12
And
or something like
yeah,
that.
for me, I think about so many characters that did not make it from the book into the series that I know people will either liked or would just enjoy having, just to add, just to provide material for both the story and to the conflict in the story.
But I mean, but here's what but also this is that HBO,
Hmm.
I don't know who owns the rights to the film rights to the Song of Ice and Fire series,
Hmm.
but I know for a fact that I think it's like Benioff and Weiss. I think they still own it, but they're not going to make anything else out of it. But from what I'm hearing is that HBO is going to make more shows from based on Martin's material from the Song of Ice and Fire universe,
Uh-huh.
with Benioff and Weiss just just executive producing the show. That's it. Like it's just they're just in name only kind of thing. We still own it, but yep, here you go. You know what I mean? And Martin actually has been working with like writers for these for the spin-off series.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I think he learned his lesson. I think not just
he,
Martin and Lucas, I think they learned the lesson when somebody is handling their stuff
I would
and
think
it gets shaky. They're like, okay, I have to be on board,
I
otherwise this happens.
honestly in my take, I think Martin is honestly in my take, Martin is the new is he's not okay. Tolkien had made a universe that he didn't finish, and he had his son finish it for him. Actually, it's still even going. He has so many unwritten material of the Tolkien universe that not even close to being finished. But Martin, I think he's like our he's our Tolkien. Like George R. R. Martin, right as of right now, he's our Tolkien at this point.
Yeah, I think I heard people say that. So yeah, he is a new Tolkien.
Yes, like he doesn't have the same like writing style as Tolkien, but
I think
damn,
in terms
he
of the universe, in terms of trying to tell like the whole of the world that he's established, yes, I can
he's
see
writing.
that.
Yeah, right. I mean, he doesn't even like make like a story based on a character. He literally makes history books.
Yeah.
he made like there was like a book that came out that was solely based on the Targaryen history book.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's even what's funny is that there was even another book that he wrote that wasn't even author. He told the publisher not to put his name down, but to put down a a maester his name down from his universe and say from maester whatever
That's
as
clever.
yeah, just like exactly like based on the yeah like to make it more like a like it's there, it exists.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's I gotta give credit just the way he. I guess he. I want to say reinvent, but the direction he goes with telling his story, I give him props
Your
for that.
here's them with fantasy novels. He fantasy like what all started fantasy would be the Lord of the Rings films.
Hmm.
They were made as he was writing his books. The films were released, which brought the attention of which brought the attention of Benioff and Weiss, which the Game of Thrones series, which in turn inspired more TV filmmakers to make more fantasy shows, and that's how we got like so many like sci-fi, more fantasy TV shows or movies. Best example would be The Witcher.
Yes.
Like it, if it wasn't for Game of Thrones, we wouldn't have like an adaptation, like a Netflix fantasy show based on The Witcher. You know,
Yeah, and I seen too in anime like some of the newer stuff. I don't want the closest one that I've heard was called Akame Got Killed. People have called that the Game of Thrones of anime because all the main characters have end up dying, towards the end. So
like
yeah,
there, and then there's one main character left.
yeah, definitely. No, that's exactly what happens. Exactly, just one.
Yeah,
And
but like,
the other one that was close in terms of the warfare, in terms of espionage, toppling of government, is Record of the Grand Crest War. It wasn't too much, bloody or yeah, it was doing that level of Game of Thrones, but it's hard to judge a Kami Got Killed or Grand Crest to be like because the sole reason of Game of Thrones, but they
oh
they
yeah,
they sit on the same realm. Those three shows. So yeah, man. No, I
like,
agree. I agree with you on your statement.
but like, oh my goodness, like Star Wars, not Star Wars. Sorry, I just jumped back. It always like pops in my head, but like, yeah, like I just thought of this. Damn it. What
That's okay. Take your time, man. Yeah, we're just talking about Game of Thrones here.
yeah, it it inspired like at there probably been times where when fantasy writers or TV shows got people are just like fantasy's not a thing, and then like a studio allows one fantasy show or movie or franchise to be made, and it makes big bucks, and studios just like you you got a fantasy show idea? Yes, come with me. We're making money.
Well, I want to say this, like with Game of Thrones. You know what? I what's also done in terms of influencing the media. I think it's taking us away from that fantasy where it's great to live in the medieval times with big castles, with a court, the king or
I
queen,
mean,
empress,
I
whatever.
mean
It
that.
took it took us away, like saw the dark side of what happens when you live in those worlds.
I mean, Game of Thrones was that kind of fantasy show, even though there was more fantasy, like in the there was more fantasy stuff in the books, but they, of course, they probably had to cut that down because it was cost much or something like that. I don't know. All I know is that but like all we know now is that like, and I'm actually gonna pinpoint to this. Lucas was making a show a Star Wars TV show called Underworld, based on like the criminal underworld of Star Wars, and we'd
Mm.
be going to Coruscant and all that stuff. But he did not did not greenlit it because he knew that it would cost like 50 million to 100 million per episode.
Mm.
But but like in the past, Lucas knew that the future would be either in merchandising, the practical effects, special effects, and like um because Lucas made when Lucas was making Star Wars, he made an agreement. He made a deal with Fox saying, "You don't give me like any money," and he keeps the rights to Star Wars and the merchandising rights. And Fox said yes because they thought it wasn't going to make any money, but they were wrong. It made so much money that Lucas produced the films himself with his money,
Oh well.
which in turn made Lucas more money, and Fox only got like the distributing money releases.
Yeah.
Basically, it just screwed Fox over in the long run,
Yeah.
which now makes me think like that's like probably one of the reasons how Disney got Fox.
Yeah. I mean,
Like like you wouldn't see it like back in the 70s. It was like, oh, we made a mistake, big whoop. But you would think, here's the thing. That's how much billions of dollars. That's probably would have kept Fox running by itself, but I guess not anymore. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. I think with money, it's always confusing these days.
Yeah, it's very confusing. And and now we're in this state of waiting for the next season of fantasy shows.
Yeah. For this decade, well, we'll see. With the whole Game of Thrones, like I heard, like they want to do like stuff that happened like before the events of Game of Thrones, like the Long Night with with the
Like
White Walkers.
they were like, you're cutting out for me again. Hold
No, I
on.
didn't say I didn't say anything.
There we go. Sorry.
No, I was just saying like with Game of Thrones, like they were thinking about either doing like other events like Aegon's
Oh no, like it,
conquest, the Dance with Dragons, the civil war between the Targaryen house, and
oh
then
yeah, like they want to. There's a it's been greenlit by HBO to make a Targaryen family TV show,
mhm,
and I think how they're going to do it is that either each season is going to be about a different Targaryen. That's how I think they're going to do it. Like they'll do like the Targaryen family that lived on Essos.
mhm,
Then the next season will be the Targaryens that invaded Westland. You know,
Westeros.
Westeros, and then the next season will probably be about the Targaryens like 300 years after they took over Westeros,
Mhm.
and see how they work out. And then maybe for all we know, may may not be possible, but for all we know, they might do like the Roberts Rebellion in one season about how the Targaryen dynasty just fell.
It it can happen, man. Like if you see like the memes or like the fandom reaction, like people already picking like actors, like who should play who, like if they make like a spin-off
Roberts
series.
Rebellion.
Yeah, people like I've seen. I don't know like the actors' names, but like, people like okay, who will be a good 30-year-old Robert Baratheon, or who would be a good
30
Rhaegar.
year old Sean Bean.
Yes, 30-year-old Sean Bean, or like who would be a good uh they have to get a new Mad King, because I guarantee you the guy is
Yeah.
dead by now, the one who was in the flashbacks. But
Yeah.
like
The Mad.
there's a lot of characters they can bring in that were not even
Yeah.
mentioned, or
Interesting enough that the famous line burn them all,
yes.
that was not in the books.
I didn't think so. No, I didn't. I read the books. No, I didn't say that.
No, like apparently Martin said that burn them all was not even in the books, but the showrunners put it in there because they needed to show that he needed to be mad,
Yeah.
and Martin was just like, okay, you can do that, that's fine.
There was another reason why that was said. And my brother was one that he goes through like Reddit and these conspiracy theories. He said, yes,
Reddit.
yes.
The moment you click onto Reddit, that's just a rabbit hole that you don't want to go down.
I mean, it was interesting just to hear it, but here's what it said. The reason why the Mad King said burn them all is because Bran, who's the Three-Eyed Raven, he accidentally messed up the Mad King's brain even more,
Oh,
gave him images of the White Walker, and it freaked him out even more. Where he wanted not to just burn down the entire capital of King's Landing, but he wanted to use all the fire to burn out the White Walkers. So
oh
that's
yeah,
why.
like I've heard that story before.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting when you think about it, but like it's too far fetched, and it's not like I said. There's not enough.
Not enough evidence to believe that.
Well, not even the show itself, not enough material to kind of correlate it, to both make sense and to even to make it like a belief in the show, like that. Oh, that's what happened because of this event or because of this thing that happened. Like there's just not enough meat, to back it up.
Yeah,
But again, it's fun to dissect it. Okay, this could be something that we have, but it's just the story does not tell it enough to justify it.
yeah,
So yeah, man. Sorry to take us off to conspiracy theories on the show. Like
yeah,
I have my own little love for them, but yeah, I know for you, like they can get too sloppy.
yeah. But like the ah, with technology going getting better and better every year, we
Mhm.
can actually see like full fledged battle of like dragons and like all that stuff if they make like the Targaryen series.
Yeah, no, that's I think people
Like
want to see that
hell,
too.
like what people would be more interested, it'd be the Blackfire Rebellion. You heard of it? You know
Yeah,
Blackfire?
yes. We're I guess the
It
I don't want to
was
use this word. I don't want to use the word, but like the guy who claims he's the illegitimate child of the king of
y-
the time.
oh,
Yeah, with that with
yes, like
I,
the story is that the king on his line on his last breath the I don't remember what was his name. I gotta figure out what his name is. Oh yes, his name Aegon the Fourth
mhm.
legitimized all of his bastard kids,
Oh yeah,
which caused more controversy than ever because at the time people were just like, who the hell is going to be the next king? You don't have a legit heir.
yeah.
And Aegon's just like, legitimize them all. And it's just like, what do you mean? And it's just
Yeah.
like, but it's just like, who's the oldest child? But then, but what also started the Blackfire Rebellion was that he legitimized all of his kids, and he gave one of his illegit uh, children the Blackfire sword, which is considered to be a tradition of handing it down to the next heir.
Yeah.
Which that's how the Blackfire name was born. Was he got the Blackfire sword and became and chose the name Blackfire.
I like to
How
yeah. Yeah, and I remember that. You know what's funny? It's just you're going to have to find both a huge actor that's going to be like almost 7 feet tall, over 300 pounds. He has to have like he's got to kind of be ugly and in a way like kind of make him look kind of trollish. And then you're gonna need special makeup or special CGI so he can have his twin brother that's been dead since birth on his neck. That's gonna be a challenge if they were to go that route, because I can't think of any actor that can pull off everything that the books illustrated. Can
oh
you? Can
yeah,
you?
there oh yeah, there's like a lot of stuff that no one can read off of. Like, you kidding? There's so much.
What
There's so much story that you can't even put down with one TV show. You need to make like more than one.
hell, like fuck, even Gregor Clegane, he was supposed to be 8 feet tall, but if
There's no 8 foot tall people in this world.
yeah, you can get 7 feet at most, but you're not getting 8 feet. That alone, an actor or a a bodybuilder to to uh to meet those requirements.
Ugh.
So that's the thing, like, again, good story is just when it comes to humans, that's where, George R. Martin, he's going for 11 out of 10 on certain areas.
I'm just looking at the person that played Gregor Clegane.
Oh,
I'm just looking at
there's three different Cleganes.
the latest.
Oh, okay, you were looking at that one. Okay.
Yeah, but
That's the most famous one anyways.
yeah, he
Uh
only showed up for like half a season, and then the rest he's just wore makeup
yeah. I mean,
and
acting wise, he didn't have to say anything or have to do any Shakespearean movements. So he was lucky on that.
yeah. He's 2.6 meters tall, which is in how much in feet?
I'm gonna guess
6.7.
what? Okay,
He
I guess.
and he's also from Iceland.
Yeah, they're pretty big over there.
Hmm. Really?
Yeah, like San Man, they're a little bigger. Like they because
Right, right. They're
Iceland because they got Viking blood in them.
yeah,
So
Viking blood. Like you, yeah, you got you. It's the Viking in them.
yeah, that's true. They stew. My one of my classmates who was he was like 40, 50 when I was at college.
Yeah,
He told me that he went to Iceland with his buddy, and they saw like this Icelandic guy in the bar. He ate
yeah,
something that's supposed to be like tough, that's supposed to like be part of like that manhood, like that makes like a manly man.
yeah.
So the guy said like he ate it and like it like burned his mouth, and he was screaming, and then he punched someone really hard. And like god
Ooh,
dang it, yeah, and that's the way they are.
yeah,
It's funny though. It's a
yeah,
good story.
yeah. And either way, like that. Yeah, we're not going to get like 8 foot tall people. Like there probably were people back in like 1,000 years ago for all we know, but like it's impossible to know.
Especially an actor these days, like, oh, go give me.
Yeah.
Well, not even an actor. Can you find me an 8 foot tall person that can also act, or that can also ride a horse and swing a sword?
And throw a boulder.
Yep, throw a boulder. So that's going to be the challenge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got off
Uh
topic with actors. So hopefully
oh
they get some
yeah.
good people in.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's not hard to find good actors. It's not hard to find bad actors. Is not, but it's hard enough to find good actors.
Well, skilled people. Aside from actor, just
And,
skilled
but here's
people.
the any actor, like any actor, can act. Like they know how to act. It's it's just if they're really into the character they're in.
Hmm.
Like are like they might be into a character that they looked up, and then a season later he's given a new script for the next season, and he looks and his character doesn't look as amazing, so he just doesn't try. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can I can agree with you. Like, and let me throw an example just so just set the tone. Because I'm a big wrestling guy. Yeah, I've probably mentioned to you many times.
Yeah.
Uh, there's an old saying that Jim Cornette, one of the old managers from the WWE days or WWF, he used to talk about Bill Dundee. He says, it's too bad they don't teach how to make tall people.
Mm.
If you could teach that, that'd be great. Otherwise, if you find a tall person, you can teach them how to do things. Rappy sports, rappy acting. Whatever skill. You know. That's why in the NBA, like yeah, they get tall guys. Like they, doesn't matter if you're very skilled. You know, they prefer getting the tall guy and then perfect on his basketball skills.
Yeah.
So so yeah, I do I do pay tribute to Jim Cornette for his interesting mindset.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what were we talking about now? No, I lost track.
Game of Thrones, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I probably should. I probably have to head out anyway.
Okay. Then why don't you just wrap this up then?
Yeah,
Just
let's. Yeah, I
close.
think we should wrap it up.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a little fun. Change of pace. Little change of
Yeah.
content. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I can tell by how passionate you were with all the stuff you
Yeah.
told.
First, I'm just exhausted, right? I don't know how. I when I over the last couple of months, I've been feeling exhausted every time I try to talk. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. Yeah.
Maybe have some water on the side. That helps or
Yeah.
something. So yeah, for our silent viewers that have been sticking around, thank you guys. Hopefully you all enjoy this kind of like change of pace. I'm planning on having some other people here. Biogun will be joining me whenever he's free. I'll be having my friend Mike McGrath. We're gonna be starting a new wrestling podcast very soon. Whenever we can get the time hunkered down. So we'll
Did
be
you just come up? Did you just come up with that idea when we were talking about like how tall the Icelandic actor was?
no.
Like tall and wrestling.
Uh, it was kind of both. Like I thought about like hell. They
Oh yeah.
when it comes to size, like you just gotta be specific. Like what kind of human being do you want on your show?
Uh, oh
Like
yeah.
that goes for anything. Whether it be wrestling, basketball, Game of Thrones, even freaking Halloween. Like the tallest one they had was a 6'9" Michael Myers. For crying out
Okay.
loud. So
Oh yeah.
so
Okay. All right.
that's the thing. Like I always tell myself, like where are we
Fair
going to
enough.
be at? When it
Fair
comes to
enough. I
media.
was just thinking when we were talking about the tall guys, I thought we were talking about wrestling. It was just like, and don't forget about the podcasts that were coming up. No way I had thought of it in the moment of this one.
No, no, it's
All right.
planned. I'll be having him. It will be most likely be a live on camera podcast. Just so I can get that plugged in. And I'm
Yeah.
happy with the turnout we have. Today we had some good views. And yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully more people will tune in. Even
Hopefully.
yeah. So it's fun. Again, hockey. This has been
Yeah.
fun. We can do this again. In the coming weeks, coming months, whenever. Uh, But yeah, man, this is a great talk, and you got to
Yeah.
vent a little bit on your frustrations on certain
Yeah.
aspects. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us for this or how guys podcast with friends. We'll be bringing in more friends in the coming months. Hope to see you guys for that. So I'm Christian, and he's Hockey. Uh, bye everyone.
See ya.